After 12 years together, my fiancé's ex-fling sends a bizarre package, stirring up old wounds, passive-aggressive friends and fresh drama. Original post, first post ever, woo, mandatory apologies for my English. Details and places muddled, just in case. Well, the title says it all. My fiancé, Oliver, and I have been together for 12 years, stuck together through thick and thin. LDR, the usual problems of a couple starting off very young, etc. In the last few years, he has been struggling a lot with depression anxiety, but he is slowly getting better. At some point in our LDR we were living in 2 separate countries, and during his stay he became very good friends with 2 other people, Ben and Sarah. The 3 of them bonded through shared experiences, same mental health issues, etc. At some point he came back, we started living together, eventually became engaged, we decided on a long engagement 2+ years, since we were both settled on long academic paths. Our relationship, that had at some points been turbulent, settled very well as we both acquired maturity and got to really know each other during our daily lives. Things were peachy. 3 years ago, Sarah moved closer to where we lived, for a 2-year stay. We were all good friends, everything good, etc. Long story short, my fiancé cheated on me with her, short before she left the country, an emotional affair included. Found it by snooping, bad on me. I was devastated. I cut contact with her immediately, demanded him to do the same, and almost broke up with him. We were separated for 2 months. It was rough because at that time I had no access to therapy or counseling, and I was really far away from home, but my friends were kick-ass and supported me emotionally all that time. After these 2 months and a lot of soul-searching, we took the first tentative steps to be together again. It took me a long time to forgive him and to recover my trust in him, but little by little we healed and we made it work again. This was 2 years ago, and things are really good. Ben did not take the news of their separation too kindly, and he has been passive-aggressive to Oliver about him not talking to Sarah. Oliver has reacted well, and has been adamant about not contacting him again. 2 weeks ago, Ben told fiancé that he had given our new address to Sarah, because she wanted to send us a package with stuff belonging to Oliver. He says that she has nothing of him, and I believe it. They have never lived together, most of their friendship they have been living in different places. He has been really anxious about all this matter, he does not want any contact with her. I personally do not care about her, but he is dreading the day the package arrives. If it comes when I'm in the house, I will just throw it away, but I do not want him to receive it and get an anxiety attack. So, relationships, what is your advice? I know I do not have to protect my fiancé from this stuff, but he is hurting and I do want to support him. I do not think it is compromising material, because I already found the compromising material, well. I think it is a passive-aggressive way of reminding us of her existence. And what shall we do with his friend Ben? TL.dr. 2 years ago, my fiancé cheated. After some time, I took him back and we are strong now, but the other girl is sending us a mystery package. Fiancé is not taking it well. OOP added more info in the comments. Hi everybody. Oh my, this blew up. Thank you for all the good advice, it has been really helpful to clear my thoughts. I left out some details that might be relevant, here they are. I do not think the package contains proof or details I still do not know. When she was living in the same country as us, she was still 600 kilometers away, so there were not really any chances to meet without me knowing. I know when it happened. Later, she moved to another continent. At that time I demanded 1, access to all his accounts, he complied, and 2, that he blocked her everywhere. He did it too and I believe him, because when she actually tried to contact us later, about Ben, I will elaborate later, she had to do it through common friends. His anxious reaction does not surprise me. He used to have very serious issues with social anxiety, to the point of being paralyzed about any kind of unpleasant interaction. He has been working on his mental issues, got in therapy and meds, etc., and now is much better. He reacted maturely to the latest developments, he told me immediately, and he understands that it is his mess to clean, but he suffered. Today I picked up a huge package, taller than a person, from a neighbor, and when he went through the door and when he saw it he really tensed up. Okay, that was kind of funny in a fucked up way. This might be pretty relevant too, but I kind of understated Ben's reaction. He did not take well at all, his 2 best friends not talking anymore. As I said, the 3 of them were a very close group, but he in particular had a magical vision of the trio, being friends forever. He was into Sarah a lot, and spent hours talking to my fiancé about how much he loved her. I have the feeling that Ben is into my fiancé as well. When my fiancé told him that he and Sarah did not talk anymore, and why, Ben seemed to take it okay, but 2 weeks later he contacted her to say he was about to self-harm. That's why she contacted us. We contacted Ben's family, he was okay. Fiancé set boundaries with him but did not cut him off completely. I am starting to think that Ben's reason to give her our address is his particular way of punishing my fiancé for leaving the magical trio. My personal feelings, all this drama has been annoying AF. The general advice of relationships seems to be to cut off Ben, and I think it is spot on. I will tell Oliver that I think it is the best idea, he is on the fence about it. About the cursed package. Personally, I lean towards throwing it away without opening. I do not want to have anything to do with that dweeb. However, you are right, it is not my decision to make. If when it comes, I will offer him the choice either to throw it away or to go through the contents together and probably toss them away afterwards. Thank you. Update. So, I know this is ancient history, but we got an update, and I have several private messages asking me for an update if something happened. So yes, we got the package, last week. And it did not disappoint. Editor's note, OOP recap of the first post, I edited it out. After reading the advice here, I sat down with him, we decided we did not want the fucking thing, so he wrote a message to Ben saying tell Sarah we do not want anything from her. And then he blocked him. This all happened last year. Meanwhile, life went on. He changed jobs, he is still in academy, and now he is way more happy and relaxed. My job is well paid and interesting, and I can keep some other projects on the side. We got married this summer, and our wedding was perfect for us. Lively, bombastic, lots of food and alcohol, and our friends and family together. It was expensive but we did not give a damn. This month, my husband is on a conference trip in another continent, so I am home alone. When I arrived home in the evening, there was a package addressed to him in the mailbox, with a stamp from a place where I know she lived, and a sender we don't know. I thought for a moment, oh my, this may be her, but then I thought that it would be pretty crazy of her to send it now. That night, I was Skyping with my husband, and made a comment about the parcel. I mentioned the name of the sender, and he did not know the name. So I proposed that I open it with him on camera. And well, turns out I was right on the money. It contained several postcards, wishing him happy birthdays and Merry Christmases, all unsigned. Also little notes such as dance in the rain, look at the clouds, walk barefoot, that kind of platitudes. And it had a book, a young adult romance book. I remember saying aloud, oh for fuck's sake, when I saw it. Meanwhile, my husband had a face like he had seen a cockroach in his sandwich. The title of the novel is Stargirl. It is about a girl who arrives at a high school and she is very quirky and magical and she dances in the rain and plays the ukulele and she is very misunderstood by the normies. The narrator dates her, but realizes that he cannot be with her because deep down is afraid of not fitting in, so he dumps her and then regrets it forever. It is not a super bad book. I like the prose, but, despite the intentions of the author, the heroine is too much of a special snowflake, and her behavior often delves into creepy territory. The book itself had a sad face in the dedication page and a small note saying read the sequel, you will understand. It was crammed with notes in small script, and sometimes the letters had been traced several times over. All of the notes were very idealized descriptions of the heroine, about how magical and beautiful she was, about the things she did, etc. Some of the notes were also about the main character agonizing about staying with her or leaving her to fit in, or descriptions about how they made out, yuck. There were also drawings of the heroine, who looked like an idealized version of Sarah. I am not gonna lie, I laughed my ass off at this fucking manic pixie dream wannabe. My husband was less amused and more creeped out. He said that she was psycho and that he did not want that shit at home. I kinda forgot about the book for the following days, because last week was my week from hell and I had to work 70 hours, I normally work 30. Because apart from my job, I took a 2-week project working in-house for a company, and I organized an art exhibition on the weekend. Also, I got pretty bad health news from a close friend, think incurable and degenerative. So the topic of Sarah was out of my mind. Yesterday I finally had time to think about it and I got angry at that asshole. They have not met in 3 years. Who the fuck does this dweeb think she is, etc. etc. I considered unblocking her briefly to tell her to stay the fuck away from us, but discarded the idea. Then I considered finding out her address and sending her a copy of Holes, by Louis Sachar, and 20 minimalist pepes printed between the pages, with a note, this is a riddle. If you solve it, I will leave my wife for you, love fiancé. Then I realized I would rather ignore her, so I threw the notes in the recycling bin and I put the book in a free box so somebody could take it home. That is all. No threats, no pictures, no positive pregnancy tests. It was anticlimactic, but honestly it was a welcome distraction in a heavy week. I don't like that she has our current address, but I do not think she will be sending more stuff. If she does, we will tell her to piss up a rope. The funny thing is that I don't hate her. She is an asshole, but this is just too sad to hate. To mock okay, but not to hate. TLDR, got the package more than a year after, when Fiancé was not at home. I opened it with him on camera. It was pretty weird shit, but ultimately harmless. Ignored and moved on. Thank you guys for the advice you gave in the previous post. Relevant comments. Comment. God, I read Stargirl when I was like 14. I associated with her for all of a week before realizing that she was definitely a try-hard manic pixie dream girl whose sole purpose in life was being more unique than anybody. OOP. I know, right? The cringe is real. I told my friends and they all died laughing. They decided to name the whole affair the unboxing. I don't think they will ever forgive me for not recording myself while opening the parcel. What makes me wonder is that it's been so long. Already. Like, almost 3 years. Come on girl, get over it. Get a life. Move to Philly. Buy a loft. Start a noise band. Get 6 or 7 roommates. Eat hummus with them. Book some gigs. Paint. Smoke cloves. Listen to Animal Collective. Start some type of salsa company. Stay the hell away from married people who do not want anything to do with you, Mackay. Anna attacks me over fake disability. I recorded and posted the assault, now she lost everything, and her husband wants a divorce. I, 31F, was born with a severe genetic disease known as EDS, hypermobility type. This sickness varies significantly from person to person, with the majority living quite normal lives despite some discomfort and problems. EDS is essentially a series of illnesses caused by faulty collagen in the body, which causes a variety of symptoms, including joint hypermobility, which occurs when joints become so loose and unstable that they frequently dislocated or subluxated, partially dislocate. It also causes severe joint and soft tissue pain, chronic weariness, easy bruising, and dizziness due to sudden decreases in blood pressure while standing. About 11 years ago, my condition deteriorated substantially, and I had to begin using a wheelchair because walking more than 100 feet became unsafe owing to the risk of hip dislocation. In the last 3 years, I converted to an electric wheelchair because pushing a manual one was too difficult. For reasons I don't entirely understand, my aunt, 54F, has a strong disdain for disabled individuals, particularly those in wheelchairs who still have some leg mobility. For the last 11 years, whenever we were alone, she treated me like a dog. She argued that my condition was fabricated, stating that I made it up to divert attention and because I was envious of anyone else receiving attention, particularly her. I tried confronting her, but dealing with my sickness was already stressful. I kept her opinions to myself because I'm not aggressive and don't see her very often. I didn't want to burden anyone, especially since I was already asking so much from those around me. My parents were fatigued from all of the doctor appointments, so I overlooked my aunt's conduct. I had become accustomed to her rudeness and no longer cared about her opinions, until last week, when everything intensified. I went to see my aunt for our annual family dinner, which she had organized. Everything was going fine until she drank more than normal and became sarcastic at me in front of the family. Some family members confronted her, stating that her behavior was disrespectful and uncalled for. Throughout the evening, she silently fumed and stared at me. My parents noticed and kept a watch on her, but I chose to take a break from her stares by going into the kitchen on the other side of the house to take my prescription privately. My aunt followed me into the kitchen, closing the door behind her. I realized right once this wasn't good. She was obviously inebriated. I discreetly began recording the interaction on my phone. Even if I screamed, nobody would hear me because the door was closed and everyone else was talking loudly in the other room. She began by asking if I liked being an attention hog and ruining her supper by humiliating her. I carefully tried to propel my wheelchair toward the entrance while apologizing and explaining that this was not my goal. I tried to say what she wanted to hear, hoping to make it to safety. She began raising her voice, accusing me of being envious of her success and fabricating my problem out of laziness. She started calling me every name in the book and screamed rubbish at me. I began to cry, pleading with her to let me go as I suspected she was experiencing a mental breakdown. I realized I needed to leave, but I couldn't do it in my wheelchair, so I tried to get out of it. Unfortunately, she became furious and pushed me back into the chair forcefully. She screamed that she was not finished yet and that liars like me deserved to be given a lesson. She began punching me in the face as hard as she could, dislocating my jaw. Then she tried to drag me out of the chair, dislocating my arm, but I fought back, and she was unsuccessful. She managed to roll my wheelchair over onto its side, causing my foot to become jammed under the footrests. Fortunately, my father noticed my disappearance, as did my aunt, and became concerned. He began looking for me. Later, he informed me that I let out a blood-curdling scream that could be heard across the dining room, forcing him and my mother to race toward the sound. By this point, I was beginning to lose consciousness due to discomfort. I recall my father rushing through the door. According to what I was told, he body-slammed and punched my aunt, his younger sister, to keep her down. My mother yelled for someone to phone 911, and my nephew did it instantly. My mother then untied me from the wheelchair and attempted to recall her first aid training. Meanwhile, my father forced my aunt to the floor, leaving her husband in full amazement and unsure what to do. When the police and paramedics arrived, they handcuffed my aunt. She screamed at my father, wondering how he dared to touch a woman, particularly his sister. My uncle attempted to defend my aunt, claiming they had no idea what had happened and suggesting that I had tipped over while attempting to attack her. He stated that his wife would never do such a thing unless provoked. He supposedly said even worse things, but my parents won't tell me what. I regained consciousness at this time, most likely as a result of the severe pain medication, but everything was still blurry because the medicine had left me disoriented. I was carried away in an ambulance, while my aunt was sent to jail. At the hospital, they discovered that I had several shattered ribs, a dislocated arm, and a dislocated jaw. The punches also resulted in a concussion, but the most serious injury was to my foot, which snapped. I had cuts and scratches all over my body since my skin is so thin. Fortunately, none of the injuries required surgery, but due to my disease, I'll be in a cast for at least 10 weeks, followed by physical therapy. My ankle will probably be irreparably ruined. I feel guilty about ruining her life. I've received several voicemails from various numbers, all with her yelling about how I ruined her life and most likely their finances. My uncle is attempting to salvage his name by sticking by her side, but this appears to be a temporary measure, since he now wishes to divorce her. A few family members are making me doubt whether I did the right thing, therefore I'm wondering if I'm in the wrong here. Yes, we are getting a restraining order and filing charges. The prospect of her pursuing me again is too much to take. Some folks have also puzzled how I received pain medication while unconscious. As I previously stated, I believe I recovered consciousness as a result of the pain medication, although I don't recall much owing to the discomfort. I'll ask my folks for more information as soon as I can. They're reluctant to discuss how they found me or what happened because they'd rather bury those memories than have them haunt me. The video of the attack was turned over to the authorities and has been backed up on numerous platforms. I'm also considering suing because my insurance covers legal fees. TLDR, my aunt admitted me to the hospital and badly wounded me because she suspected I was faking my genetic illness for attention. I recorded the entire attack and shared it online when they said I was lying and attacked her. Everyone in the family has cut all ties with her, including her church. Her husband wants a divorce. So am I the moron that posted the footage and ruined her life. Lab partner mocks me for being short, so I brought a measuring tape to set the record straight. Now he's embarrassed and denying everything. Original post. I am a 5'1" female and my lab partner constantly makes fun of me for being short. For example, I came back from the bathroom and he said, "I thought you fell in the toilet because you're so tiny." He also said that my hair is so big it makes my head and me look even more tiny. I am not insecure about my height nor does making fun of it offend me, but it's annoying and ironic because he's short too, looks 5'6". And yes, I know it might be because he's interested in me, but I don't find him attractive, so the teasing isn't cute, it's just very annoying. Last lab I had enough of it and basically told him to shut up because he's like 5'5". He said he's not 5'5" and he's 5'9". I know I am very short, but he is definitely not over 5'7". We started arguing about it, so I told him I'll bring a measuring tape next class and we'll find out the truth. I started to feel a bit bad after because I know men are very insecure about their height. However, him obviously lying about his height and constantly making fun of me makes me in the mood to be petty. Will bringing the measuring tape make me an asshole? Edit. I accidentally put F22 in my title, for my lab partner. To correct myself, I am female 20 and my lab partner that makes fun of me is male 22. More explanation as to what he says. Editor's note, fix the title of the Boru for clarity. Some of OOP's comments. Commenter. NTA, he's finally found someone shorter than him and it makes him feel superior. If he can't take it, he shouldn't dish it out. OP, do you think me bringing the measuring tape will make me the asshole? Commenter. NTA. Bring in the measuring tape and a big, black Sharpie. Don't say a word to him. Go to the door frame and mark 4, 5s and 6. Between the 5 and 6 foot marks, place the inches. Remember how parents used to measure kids' heights against the wall for the doorframe and leave marks for little Susie is so tall on October 31st and Ben is so tall on the same date. Don't say another word to him, just leave the measuring marks so he has to look at them every day as he passes by the chart. Keep direct eye contact with him whenever he walks by it. OP. I'm rolling with laughter. Thank you for this idea. I'm definitely going to do this. I was planning on just measuring him, but the marks on the wall would be more accurate. I don't know if I would be allowed to draw on the wall with a Sharpie though. I may do it with a washable marker instead. Commenter. NTA, he shouldn't dish it if he can't take it, but I don't know that it'd help to escalate with the tape if you'll still need to work with him. Can you switch partners? OOP. No, I can't switch my partner. This is my assigned partner for the rest of the semester. Thankfully I only have 3 classes left. Commenter, downvoted. He's definitely trying to flirt with you IMO. He wants to emphasize how small you are because it makes him feel bigger and he's probably not used to that LOL. He wants to make it clear that compared to him you're just cute and small. He's obviously insecure about his own height. I do think being short has wildly different implications for men and women, but it's not like you decided to do this after he made an offhand comment. You're clearly annoyed by this and he's being disruptive and kind of desperate by not shutting the fuck up about it. Measuring tape might be the exact tool you need to show him why this kind of shit is very bad for him LOL. OP. I think so too, which is why I was hesitant to say anything. I didn't want to make him more insecure. I don't think he means it in a harmful way, but it's just annoying because he mentions it every single lab. However, last class he kept making inappropriate comments about our other lab partner and I getting married and having babies. That really crossed the line for me. I gave him a death stare and told him to stop in all seriousness, because the comments he was making were just making things awkward and uncomfortable. He chose not to listen and keep going thinking he was funny. After that I lost all respect for him. Commenter, haha. I had a guy worked with once who insisted he was 5'8". I literally said we're the exact same height, and I'm 5'3". Dude had the audacity to say someone had lied to me because I was obviously 5'7" or so. NTA, don't let their fragile masculinity bother you. Measure that boy. OEUP, this is absolutely hilarious. This guy said the same thing, that I must be 5'5". So now I'm suddenly not short anymore, huh El Mayo. The audacity of these men to lie by a whole 4 inches thinking people won't notice is just embarrassing. OOP adds a bit more from his bullying. I'll tell you what I told the other person who said the same thing. To clarify, he also said, I thought you fell in the toilet because you're so tiny, when I got back because it took a while. He also said my hair is so big it makes my head and me look even more tiny. To add on, he repeatedly calls me shorty, or brings up my race saying my people are usually short. When I try to ignore him he just keeps repeating the same thing to annoy me and get a reaction. I love being short. So there's nothing to be sensitive about. It's him being annoying and making these comments to someone he barely knows, all the while he's also very short, that bothers me. Oh, and I'm bringing the tape. Update. Same post. Update. I got to class late because of traffic, so I didn't have time to tape it up. Also, there is no actual wall beside me, so nowhere I could really tape it. But I still measured him. I whipped my tape measure out and they started laughing at first because everyone knew what was about to go down. Before I measured him, he asked me what the margin of error was and said, that thing is 2-3 inches off. We both knew he lied at this point, LOL. But I insisted on measuring him and at first he didn't want to get measured. I told him to take his shoes off and he said he didn't want to. I said I'm subtracting an inch from the measurement then. He was 5'7" with the shoes on, so without them he's actually a little less. Even after I clearly measured him he kept denying it, saying it's wrong, that I measured him wrong and the tape measure is incorrect. He then looked up how tall is 67 inches, because he kept saying that must not be 5'7". I couldn't believe he kept denying it even though I clearly just measured him. His friend, in the lab group across from us, is about the same height as him and also lied about his height last time. So he was embarrassed too because they both were obviously lying. I made a joke about how the top 2 inches must be invisible and he wasn't too happy. Our lab TA 6'2" came over and asked what the measuring tape was for. I told him it was to measure his height, pointing to my lab partner. I said he lied and the TA started laughing too. Next week I'm thinking of just taping the measuring tape at the door before class so they're always reminded of it when they walk in. There's really nothing more I can do. We both know he lied even if he doesn't admit it. Editor's note. Marked as concluded. Since OOP hasn't updated and proved her point, everyone knows the kid was lying.